Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Newslive on Viewer Television. The recap of our top stories. Abba Kyari pleads not guilty to drug trafficking. ASU shuns federal government's inauguration of renegotiation committee. Plus, Russia attacks destroy airport as Zelensky urges no-fly zone. Now, the Federal Capital Territory, FCTA, says it has uncovered 6,000 uncompleted buildings across the territory. This followed intensified efforts by the authority to curb the rising cases of uncompleted buildings in the city center and the territory. The Director Department of Development Control, FCTA, Al-Aji Mukhtar Galadima, made the disclosure in an interview with newsmen in Abuja. Galadima, a town planner, explained that the administration is in conjunction with other relevant departments, had sent letters to the owners of all the uncompleted buildings.
Some effort to stem the tide of this rising case of uncompleted buildings, because in conjunction with other relevant departments, the FCT administration has sent out letters to owners of some of these uncompleted buildings for them to come and complete their structures and put them into the designated use for such uncompleted buildings. And here in the department, we have also had an interactive session with some of the owners of these uncompleted buildings or their representatives, trying to explain to them the consequences of having some of these structures dotting all over the federal capital city and even the territory. So some of them have responded favorably. We have conducted some integrity tests on some of the structures. Some of the owners have tried and made some efforts to complete the structures. One, it leads to change of the original use designated for that particular plot, because a lot of people believe the non-occupancy of these completed buildings is due to the high cost of rentage. So as a result, individuals cannot afford to rent such structures or houses for their own use. Consequently, it is that a corporate entity now that comes in to take it as either as an office or a shopping facility or eatery or any other use. So as a result of that, this non-occupation of completed houses brings about changes in land use. That is one. Secondly, it has been also reported that some of the security men that have been attached to these houses, I mean the native guards that are attached to these houses, sometimes allow night renters. Somebody will come in the night and say, please let me stay. And then by the time he stays, he pays. In the morning, he goes out. Some of these people, even though we don't have the statistics or records, but some of these people are of questionable character. So you can see the security angles to this issue of unoccupied, completed buildings in their FCT.
But the Department of Development Control can do better if it is automated.
Like any other venture or government agencies, we have challenges, naturally. If I say the challenge of fund is common, but the most important one that is so dear to my heart, that is giving me sleepless night, is to see my department being automated so that we can do business with ease. Anywhere in the world you can submit your plan, get your approval. So by the time the department is automated, the process of development contracting is automated, we can do things with ease, and then we'll generate more revenue, and then people will have that satisfaction that yes, they can get their own approval within no much time.
Now, the Lagos State government says it conducted tests on 19,968 building materials in 2021 to curb cases of building collapse in the state. General Manager, Lagos State Materials Testing Laboratory, LSMTL, Olofunsho Oluwadi, said the agency will digitalize its operations this year for effective capturing of all projects, sites across the state. Oluwalade told newsmen that materials testing was important to eliminate factors that cause building collapse and construction failures. According to him, tests done eluded soil, water, steel, and calibrations, among others. Now, the Nigerian Army says troops of Operation Hadinkai eliminated about 17 Boko Haram Islamic State West African province terrorists in Damasak, Mobile local government area of Borno State. Damasak, the main town of the Mobile local government area, is located near the confluence of the Yobe River and Kamadugu-Ghana River, adjoining the border with Niger, 34 kilometers from Difa in Niger and 3 kilometers between Damasak and the border with Niger. The theater commander Operation Hadinkai Northeast Joint Task Force, Major General Christopher Musa, disclosed this in an interview with newsmen on Monday in Maiduguri. The commander said that the unrelenting troops and arrested three other terrorists alive. Musa said that the troops also uncovered motorcycles and other assorted weapons from the encounter which took place on Sunday. Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited started the week with a move to tackle the challenges of gas flaring in the country. The NNPC Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, GMD CEO, Mele Kyari, during a panel session at the just concluded Nigerian International Energy Summit in Abuja, said part of the strategies will be to ensure that any proposed project without clear-cut plans to commercialize or use up its associated gas will no longer be approved. He said gas utilization was a major priority of both the federal government and the NNPC, as efforts were on to build infrastructure to replace the concurrent fuel, oil, and diesel in the nation's factories with gas, which is a clear source of energy. Now, Abdulrazak Nandas, an APC governorship candidate in Adamawa State, believes that no nation or state can flourish and prosper until its youths are educated and completely empowered. On Saturday, Nandas announced his after unveiling his governorship campaign office in Mobi. The reports.
Activities in the ancient town of Mobi briefly came to a halt as mammoth crowd of supporters, party faithful, and associates received Adamawa's foremost gubernatorial hopeful, Honorable Abdulrazak Nandas, who was in the town to launch his campaign office ahead of the 2023 general election. The supporters then escorted the gubernatorial hopeful to the palace of the Emir of Mobi. Shortly after launching the campaign office, Nandas, who addressed the mammoth crowd, said he was in the race to turn around the fortune of the state, noting that he has the magic wand to bring rapid socio-economic development to the state.
The vocational training institute here that was also constructed, initiated and established by the former governor Murtala Yako. This, so many billions were spent on that money, but today all the equipment have been stolen away. Now I will do my best to bring this back, because until you engage our youths, until you give them quality education, you are not likely to move forward. All this is of terrorism, brainwashing of people as a result of lack of quality education, and that's why I want to do that.
He noted that one of his priority projects in Mobi is to rejuvenate the state university, which is still crawling more than 20 years after its establishment.
That this zone is blessed with a state university that was established 20 years ago when I was also in government that time, Governor Bode Haruna. And this university has helped the people of this zone, the country, and the state at large. But the truth is that we are yet to get the full potential of this university. We don't have a faculty of medicine, we don't have a faculty of engineering, we also don't have pharmaceuticals, faculty of pharmacy and what have you.
He expressed joy for the overwhelming reception he received in the town, even though he only came to open his campaign office. High points of the event were the donations of 700,000 naira by Nandas to an indigent patient who has been grappling with a life-threatening ailment for over 17 years, and the presentation of awards on Nandas by the youth in Mobi. Pressy Dabang, Viewer Television News, Yola.
On February 28, unidentified gunmen attacked 7 staff members of the Medicine Sans factories MSF on the road outside Europe and robbed them, burnt 2 MSF vehicles, forcing the aid organization to suspend operations in area outside the city. The same day, armed men attacked a convoy of World Food Program trucks between Gondiak and Bo in Adamawa State. The convoy was being escorted by the UN peacekeeping troops, and peacekeepers were shot and injured during the attack. These attacks are latest in the surge of attacks against aid workers and aid operations across South Sudan. Now, 4 adults and 2 children were killed when a tornado hit Madison County in the U.S. state of Iowa on Saturday. At least 4 other adults were injured in the tornado that caused widespread damage to both homes and properties. National Weather Service this morning tweeted that the worst of is over for central lower storms are moving off to the east areas of the line, including the Des Moines Metro at the Clear. NWS said that its survey teams will thoroughly investigate the damage. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the barricade of Russian missiles destroyed a civilian airport in Vinnytsia in central Ukraine on Sunday. Several cities and air bases in Ukraine have been bombed, shelled, or hit with ballistic missiles since Russia launched its 11-day-old invasion. The Vinnytsia is the western area of central Ukraine, far from the Russia and Belarus borders, in an area that has seen fewer such strikes.
Росії жодним чином. Ракетний удар, жорсткий, цинічний, повністю зруйнований.
Now, the European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell says that the EU must be prepared to host 5 million people from Ukraine ahead of the meeting for the EU ministers in Montpellier in southern France. Ukrainian residents left the country after Russian forces invaded the country, with U.S. intelligence agencies assessing that about 1 million to 5 million Ukrainians could be displaced. Nearby countries, including Romania, Hungary, and Poland, have agreed to accept refugees, though some countries may not have the capacity to take in the amount set. Now we'll bring to you business and sports news right after the break. Do stay tuned.
Welcome to Sport News. I am Adamawa State. Bayern Munich might do better to focus on their midweek last 16 Champions League clash, but with Lewandowski agitating for a new contract, transfer speculations around the Poland striker future is clouding the issue. Bayern hosts Red Bull Salzburg in a Champions League last 16 return leg tie on Tuesday, following a 1-1 draw in Austria. Unusually for him, Lewandowski has not scored in his last 3 games and off the field. His future beyond this season appears a little unclear. Over the weekend, there were reports Manchester United led a list of Premier League clubs to have contacted Lewandowski's agent Pini Zahavi. Lewandowski, 33, like fellow Bayern veterans Manuel Neuer, 35, and Thomas Müller, 32, is out of contract in June 2023. The Nigerian Cricket Federation, NCF, is putting everything in order at the newly refurbished Tafawa Balewa Square Cricket Oval ahead of a 6-nation T20 international tournament billed to hold from March 26 to April 4, 2022. NCF President Uyi Akpata at the weekend disclosed that the event will feature Rwanda, Ghana, Sierra Leone, the Gambia, and Cameroon, as well as host country Nigeria. The president said creating opportunities for the national women's team to constantly square up with tough African opposition is a key objective in setting up the tournament, adding that it will also go a long way in raising the bar for aspiring players. The Nigerian team has been camped for over a week at the Edo Boys High School High Performance Cricket Center in Benin City under the watchful eyes of national coaches, trainers, and selectors. Still on the Women's Cricket Championship, Ghana's women national team players have begun shaping up with the Ashanti Region Senior Women's T20 League at the Kunust Ubasi Campus Cricket Oval ahead of the forthcoming Women's T20 Championship due to hold in Nigeria. Whitehall Cricket Club of Ghana captain Ellen Oto Asante said after finishing last out of the 4 teams that played last November, her team, which shared same points 4 with Tutuka Queens, fell behind with an NRR of -1.9 as against -1.0 for the Tutuka Queens. The Ghana Cricket Association, together with the Ashanti Regional Association, scheduled Saturday, February 26th through to Sunday, March 13th as date for this year's double round robin clashes, which is aimed at selecting the best for the upcoming International Women's Tournament in Nigeria. That's all we have on Sport News. Thanks for watching. I am Adamu Joseph.
And that's all on Newslive, but before we go, a recap of our top stories. Abba Kyari pleads not guilty to drug trafficking. ASU shuns federal government inauguration of renegotiation committee. Plus, Russia attacks destroy airport as Zelensky urges no-flight zone. Many thanks for watching. I'm John Martake. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.